Hello, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I would like to bring up the subject of long term raw veganism. And I want to bring up it not from the perspective of, yes, I've been raw vegan for 20 years, and now I want to talk about my experiences, my success story. Not from that perspective. I want to bring it up from the perspective of much even shorter time span and why people cannot go raw vegan full on, why they quit after just a month, a couple of months, despite the fact that it gives them much better feelings, much better condition of their health, condition of their body, mind, and spirit. Let's let's word it this way, because I see numerous comments under raw vegan videos. People write, "Oh my god, I was raw vegan 3 years ago. It was so incredible. I unfortunately quit. I didn't have willpower to do it anymore. It felt so amazing. I've never felt this way before. I had never felt this way before because they quit in the past." And the other cohort of people, they make videos for YouTube that I went raw vegan for 30 days and this is what happened. They usually don't go raw vegan for longer periods of times. It's usually regarded as some fun experiment to carry on with your body, and people just quit because they don't see it as a lifestyle. They see it as some like it's anything. It can be a fat diet. It can be some way to lose weight, some way to temporarily alleviate some condition, some form of detox, and so on and so forth, but not a lifestyle. So I would like to talk about it, how to make it a lifestyle. And the first thing that I want to bring up is how you communicate with people who surround you. Because huge impact when it comes to alcohol, smoking weed, diet. I mean, not diet, let's word it this, let's call it lifestyle. Comes from your surroundings. If especially you are a very dependent person, if you are not yet mature enough to set boundary that this is what I'm doing. If you are unable yet to be very strict and radical about your preferences, or if you don't have a strong sense of priority in what you're doing, what you feel will benefit you, then you're more likely to lean on people, lean on the opinions and examples of people who do things that you kind of disagree with and would like to get away. But these people, for example, do something pleasurable for you in case if it's your some like boyfriend partner, or it's your parents who fund you or who support you, who maybe who take care of your kids while you're having fun. So when you have certain level of actual or factual and moral dependency on others whose lifestyle is not aligned with what you aspire to live like, then you will likely jump off very quickly because you will be constantly judged. And here I will bring a binder to the next tip. But if you suddenly start doing something that is out of control, out of safety zone, out of understanding of people who are accustomed to living with you, who are sharing the household, certain rituals, opinions with you, then again, it may feel very hurtful for them. And it may feel like you are just entering some, I don't know, some dangerous cult or something. And here, knowledge is what you must equip yourself with in order to be able to healthfully and rationally communicate your preferences with others. Because raw plant based diet is completely scientifically justified. And if your people who you live with are receptive for any form of logical reasoning, then, drop by drop, seed by seed, you can influence their opinion, influence their bias, such that they just calm down about you pursuing this lifestyle, such that your actions, your everyday actions, are not faced with judgment, attacks, some sardonic jokes, and discouragement. Because again, if you're doing something extraordinary, something mathematically abnormal, because there are two norms, there's mathematical norm is what majority does, and physiological natural norm, that's what nature intended. That's how things should work in an ideal scenario. So if you are outside of this mathematical norm, then you need to reinforce your actions, your own opinions, feelings about something with knowledge. Because again, intuition is the sum of our all previous experiences that became so natural that we can access them from our subconsciousness. We don't need any reasoning to output certain intuitive thoughts, certain intuition driven actions. But if you don't have those experiences in the past, you need to generate them, you need to put the work in. So, point number two, why you cannot sustain raw vegan diet while you constantly go back to living normally is again scarcity of knowledge that you have accumulated to date. Lack of knowledge gives you sense of uncertainty. You cannot be confident. Again, you don't have intuition. Nobody showed you the ways to live this way. You likely lived a very sheltered life, some urban life, where you knew that all your food comes from the supermarket. You heard a bunch of reasoning about why eating concentrates, concentrated sugars, proteins, and fat is normal. You heard that. You hear a lot of conflicting nutritional advice that only confuses and muffles your inner sense of truth, inner sense of, and inner aspiration to for pursuit of truth. So, with that, you need to read articles, you need to study how your body works, you need to experiment with what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and you need to read as much as possible. It can be literature, it can be articles. And here's an important note is that if you go on Google Scholar and search raw vegan, raw plant based, you will likely see just a few research groups, I went through them, that find arguments against raw veganism, and I analyzed them. They have very poorly designed experimental subjects, very poorly designed experiments. However, you can still draw certain conclusions from that. What I would encourage you to do instead is to go on Google Scholar and search how certain nutrients work, what they do, and consumption of which things influences what. Search articles on gut microbiome, on the respiratory tract microbiome. Search articles on the origins of, let's say, some autoimmune diseases, on the origins of some allergies. What is the major drawback of modern science, and especially health science, is that it's completely detached. So it's completely narrowly focused and it doesn't provide you a wholesome picture. That is why, again, and also again, studying certain habits, studying certain lifestyle over the long period of times, using self-reporting from people is also challenging. It's hardly possible to design a good, clean experiment to study the influence of certain things on people in some holistic fashion. That is why our science studies they put certain element in in cellular culture in the petri dish, and they study what happens in response to certain substances, or they take some isolates and they inject them in people's bloodstream. They see what reaction it induces in people, in subjects, in experimental subjects. So that is why it's incredibly important when you do literature search to analyze the experimental section. How are experiments conducted? What were the sample sets? What conditions they used? And was the experiment conducted on a real human or was it cellular structure? What was the origin? How the samples were purified? I mean, the chemical samples that they were injecting, putting in people. So that's why, again, just giving the nature of this science and state of science, you need to do a very laser focused work on picking well designed studies, and you will need to collect all those puzzles and put them together in a coherent picture. Feel free, again, to generate the database for yourself and share, returning to point one, share those articles with your relatives. And then the tip number three, you've generated knowledge. You collected all this information. There's a bunch of information out online as well. People already gathered some information together and they preach it, they talk about it a lot. So, this would be a good starting point for you to start reading more particular studies, more particular works that those speakers reference. You can listen to about certain effects, and then you go and Google about this effect, and you find papers on that, and you see, okay, this indeed by this much percent, this many percent, this parameter dropped, and so on and so forth. So tip number three is, well, more psychological, let's say. Do not regard raw veganism, raw plant-based, let's say, lifestyle as a challenge. You are not being tested. You are not on a challenge. You are not doing something like, look what I can. Like, mom, watch. Whenever you do this, whenever you come to certain action with such an attitude, you generate a lot of tension around it. Whenever you say that I gotta like flex all my willpower in order to lose this much weight or gain this much weight or do this workout and so on and so forth, when you're in a challenge, the challenge usually ends because it's all willpower driven. Remember, if you played any strategy based games, you know that there is certain expected outcome of certain action. When you are able to plan only two steps ahead, you will succeed. But you need to understand why you would plan two steps ahead. Here I will explain you. Let's say you ate a bar, chocolate bar. You ate some milk chocolate. You know what feelings follow that chocolate bar. You, as step number two, will be you experiencing the effects of the chocolate bar. It's sour sensation in the mouth, sensitive teeth, zits, wanting to drink and eat a pickle, feeling of some like, why did I do this? Basically, not even psychological, any like food guilt or anything. It's just a feeling that I want to cover it up with some like savory meal because it was too cloying. It was something nah. Let's say you eat a salad. After a salad, after a good raw vegan salad, like big coarse green filled with fats, filled with protein. This nice fibrous salad gives you pleasureful taste in the mouth. Because when you eat a lot of alkaline foods, it gives this nice properties of the saliva for that enables efficient um, restoration of the pH in the mouth. So you get pleasant sensations in the mouth. You get truly satiated. You don't just stuff your body with some calories. You stuffed your in some macros, empty macros. You stuffed your body with a bunch of micro elements. Your body screams in happiness because it got a lot of nutrients. So you are truly satiated without feeling heavy, sluggish, and wanting to eat something else. At the same time, that feeling after like a bowl of pasta when you want to eat something else, even though you're extremely full. So after a salad, you will feel those sensations. Focus on them. This is step number two. You harvest the sensations. And when in your head you understand that, okay, I like bang my foot on the wall and it will hurt, versus I pet my foot and it will be pleasurable. You do the same thing with food. You just build this logical chain. I eat this chocolate bar, substitute it with any addiction you may have. It can be alcohol, cigarettes, weed, anything. And you will feel that and that. Or I will do something pleasurable, something fulfilling, something truly healthful, and it will feel amazing. So you build this chain in your head and you act on it out of self-respect because you clearly you don't want to do a self-harm. And when you harvest the sensations, when you're mindful about the consequences that each element that you consumed provides to you, then you are able to very easily make a decision on what to eat without any compulsive intentions. You do it from the position, not again that, oh, this is a chocolate bar, but I will choose a salad. And when you do this, when you only think about the first step of the sensation, how this nice emulsified chocolate coats your mouth, versus how you need to exert a lot of work to chew your salad, this is a dead end. This is where the challenge is. But when you focus on the second step, when you are already okay, there is this sour taste, cloying sensations, thirst, and wanting to eat some a pickle, versus pleasant sensations, satiation, I did something great, skin will be radiant, hair will grow amazingly, I will feel light and energetic. You will be able to bypass the willpower moment with your rational. Do you understand what I'm saying? You basically use your rational thinking in order to not need to use the willpower. And taking a sweet second to think about it every time you're while you're on the moment of overcoming something. This will make you eat very consciously and very well without any, again, willpower exertion, because willpower element is where a lot of people fail. So you need to remove willpower from the picture and replace it with just your cognition, with your rational thinking. That's all. That's how you quit on any like addiction and so on. And this is how you succeed. This is how you're able to roll through the raw vegan lifestyle for a long period of time. Is just using rational arguments that help you to make decision every day on what you consume. So this becomes an extremely easy task. So even not a task, but something to look forward to. You eventually start looking forward when you build this feedback loop in your head of, I'm doing this, I'm getting these sensations. You first understand them rationally to make choices, but then they become your second nature. So you have feedback loop, your brain, your body starts asking for those things after several months on raw vegan. And you just keep going. You will feel so much encouragement from your body and brain to do this. So, tip number 3 is remove willpower from the picture by employing two-step analysis, two-step thinking about how to approach things. This is a very useful step for everything in life, literally, for everything in life. Whatever things you feel you need to work on, whatever things you feel are dysfunctional in your life at the moment, you just apply this two-step thing, and you will literally change your life based on your best, most educated, and truthful judgment that you may have. So this is step number 3. So far we've covered social influence. Second tip was, I already forgot. What was the second tip? Knowledge base, collecting as much information as possible. And third tip was two-step thinking. So I think with those 3 tips, you will be able already to kind of extend the duration of your raw vegan lifestyle to literally to truly reap the benefits of this lifestyle. Because again, your body will fooler in you, right? This is, of course, this is like kind of a funny thing, rather used to put things in perspective, but your body fully updates, fully renews in 7 years. So ideally it would be fun to actually try to stay on raw vegan diet for at least 7 years to see what will happen then, when all of your cells were generated during this lifestyle, right? So tip number 4 is related to tip number 2, which is generating the knowledge base, but I will just elaborate on it. What do you need to think about? Tip number 4 will be design your diet to cover your micronutrient needs. This is a great tip because it will automatically ensure that you are getting all necessary macros. It will ensure that you're getting all necessary calories and this will be such a comfortable approach for you to do, because to employ, because it binds raw vegan lifestyle with whatever we're accustomed to in terms of conventional nutritional science. When you're deeply into this lifestyle, when you're already years in, you can start doing also some like detox, juicing. You can start trying autonomy, dry fasting, water fasting, and the other methods. But right away, when you're coming from some standard diet, some standard way of eating, it's not the best idea to go extreme. So what I would suggest is generate micronutrient based dietary plan. Write down the meals that you will be eating every day. Write down certain good recipes. And try to have fun, of course. It's okay if in the beginning you eat more desserts, for example. If you eat like mixtures of nuts and sweets, which I discourage from doing, it's okay if you eat raw nut butters, for example. Later on, believe me, you will stop eating all of that. I think it's it's not sustainable thing. Your body will send you signals that's not the right food. Now try again soaking things and so on and so forth. Make everything as tasteful and comfortable as possible. Use dehydrator early on in the beginning to make some fun dishes. To just make your transition to this diet, and make your psyche comfortable with it, such that it doesn't build associations that raw vegan equals severe deprivation, it equals some nutritional deficits, it equals essentially stress. So you don't need this. What I would encourage you to do is to initially, when you transition to raw diet, build association that raw vegan is comfort, raw vegan is beautiful, raw vegan is joyful, raw vegan is pleasureful. So with this, you will program your brain to be comfortable with this lifestyle. You will program it to be completely in tune with it. So you will be more invincible to some external, again, biases, to some external influences, because again, if you program your brain to think that raw vegan equals stress, then you add another factor such as like, oh, this is stupid, just one time and just hang out with us, let's just have some booze and so on and so forth. This will be a very loose system for you. And if you have that raw is pleasureful, raw is radiant, raw is so cool and comfortable, and somebody tells you, let's go get booze and the steak with like mashed potatoes and a bunch of gravy, you will be like, bro, no, I don't want to do this. I have my own source of pleasure now. So that's type of thing. I mean, of course, it's like kind of like pretty rough example, but just such that you get the point how it will work for you. So this was my fourth tip. Just have fun and build association with raw diet that it is a pleasure. Don't jump into doing a bunch of extreme things that again require a lot of willpower, exertion, and so on and so forth. Certain practices will come with time. Again, ability to fast, ability to do all sorts of things. And then part number 5 will be introduce certain spiritual or thinking or focusing practice into your daily routine, and reminisce on the times when you were before before your raw veganism. Absolutely memorize your state before the raw vegan diet, because later on when you are on it you feel like, this doesn't hurt. You forget about how uncomfortable you felt before this diet. So it becomes very easy to cheat on it. By cheating, I mean that you start not just like occasionally, like you eat certain cooked foods. I myself, I'm not 100% raw, obviously. I consume some boiled legumes because I don't always have sprouts on hand. And so when you start cheating every day, you eventually just crawl out of the raw vegan lifestyle. So you need to be focusing, you need to memorize how you felt before then, and you need to be focusing on the beauty of your life after you switch to this lifestyle. So basically, what this focusing slash spiritual work will do for you, it will be reinforcing, it will be reminding you through gratitude, um, through acknowledgement of how you are right now. It will be reminding you of why you're doing this. So it is a really powerful tool to keep you doing this. Because again, it's very easy to depreciate everything you've achieved. It's very easy to depreciate how good you feel because good feelings is not an excruciating headache. Right? So good feelings become your background state and you think that I can just like run the world basically. Yes, but it is because you eat this way. And if you stop eating this way, you will likely stop running the world. So you need to be mindful of that. And for that, I highly advise you that you practice gratitude. And actually, very cool practice is when you prepare yourself raw food, acknowledge it. This is a really great tradition in pretty much all traditional societies to pray before the meals. When people as a community they get together, a group of people, and they all express gratitude for the foods that they are provided on the table. And regardless of your religion, regardless of what sect you are in, maybe you are atheistic, well, you're fully atheistic. So, regardless of that, feeling gratitude for this food, putting an intention in what you're eating, acknowledging what this food is going to do for you, being mindful about the effects that it's producing in your body will also keep you going with lots of pleasure and gratitude, and it will be an upward movement for you. Because again, raw vegan diet is more about more than a diet, it's a philosophy. And we are more than a body. We have consciousness. We have this connection to the informational space. We have this capacity to connect with certain like with the property of nature such as cognition and creative abilities. So we ourselves are more than a material body. We are we are like pretty much a mix. That's how the food is. So acknowledge that, appreciate that at every meal, and do this every single day. Look at your food with so much gratitude and reverence. And this literally will be probably sufficient for you to hold on to this diet through the years for a long period of time. So here I will conclude my video, and please leave your comments below. Remember to like and subscribe. And I'm very open and very happy when you ask me questions. And I will see you in the next video, guys. Thank you.